Hi everybody, and welcome to the second part of the WinCollect lesson. So here we'll focus on the hands-on. So this is our hands-on plan. Actually we learned in the previous lesson about the WinCollect deployment planning that you need to know and in advance prepare yourself for choosing between standalone or managed mode, local collection or remote collection. So you have to decide on all of this, guys. Also the limitations, you need to understand very well the limitations of each and every deployment mode. So for example, the local collection allows you to collect like 5000 EPS maximum. The remote collection allows you for collecting maximum 2500 with maximum 500 endpoints. The standalone may be better for large deployments where you can where you have the deployment tool like Microsoft SIEM. The managed mode may be better for small scale customers where you will manage from the QRadar console. So all of this is important to be planned ahead. Here we will make the exercise on mainly on the 5.10 PC and the 1.223 PC. So this is our diagram. So we will focus in the first part on the 5.10. So basically from 1 to 5 we will do the exercises on this box. We will connect remote desktop and do everything here, and then for the rest it will be on the 2 to 3, and part of it is to make remote polling for the 5.10. So at the beginning we will install the Sysmon package from Microsoft. It allows you to get more detailed event logs like a process created, image loaded, this kind of detailed logs that can reveal malicious behavior on your PC. Like for example, every process has a parent process. So if the parent process is different from the normal, this can trigger an offense in QRadar. So this is very useful, and some regulations mandate the installation of Sysmon. Next we will do the we'll verify the prerequisites for collecting the logs. So if any PC you would like to collect logs, Windows logs from, it should has like the local policy configured for auditing, or the group policy if it's part of a domain controller. So many prerequisites we need to double check together, including creation of a service account for collecting these logs. Okay, so here we'll focus on the interactive installation of the WinCollect and the configuration console. And since we are talking about configuration console, so we are talking about standalone mode of installation. And finally we will uninstall to just clear everything and start over again from here. So we will make the silent installation of the WinCollect, again standalone local collection. So actually here we will leverage the command that we will see at the end of the interactive installation. QRadar or IBM actually give you the command that you can use on larger deployments. So after we finish here, we'll take the command and we'll try it again but this time we will try it here for 2 to 3. And actually we are not interested in the local collection itself here, because I will not enable the Sysmon or the prerequisites for the audit policy. However, I just put the local collection to open the way for us to put the XPath, to show you to showcase for you how to include the XPath also in the silent installation. Okay, next we will do the silent installation of the configuration console. Again, this is a standalone installation, and we will configure the remote polling of the 5.10. So this you can see here, it's bit network connectivity thing. I will show it for you now, and then again we will uninstall to clear everything, and then we will make an interactive installation, but this time a managed mode and local collection. and we will then add the 5.10 from the QRadar console. So this is the beauty of the manage mode, that you will manage from your QRadar. So after we make the manage mode installation here, we will connect to the QRadar and add the log source 5.10, and then we will delete the WinCollect from QRadar. So again, we are here make the uninstallation, but this time we are not doing an installation from the machine itself. This is a manage mode, so we can just delete the WinCollect from the QRadar console, and consequently it will delete the log source for you, or disable the log source for you. The final exercise will be to add destination in QRadar. We'll get to know about the destinations, and then we can make silent installation again, manage local collection using the /qn and using the XPath. So again, we'll take the command out of the interactive installation and use it here. And finally, this is a very nice use case where we will make the bulk addition of 5.10 and 1.30. So the 1.30 and 5.10 we will add them in bulk to the WinCollect agent through the QRadar console. So this is one of the advantages of the manage mode, where you can add a list of IB, so it's not like adding one by one. Okay, so let's start right away for installing the Sysmon on 5.10. So before that, we need to download the Sysmon. So I have here 3 more articles from IBM. Actually, it's one from IBM, and it references 2 links. One is the Microsoft link, where you can download the Sysmon sysinternals, and the second one is from Swift on security on GitHub, where you can download the configuration file for the Sysmon. So the file here, actually this is the Microsoft website. This download Sysmon will download for you a zip file that has the 32-bit system and 64-bit, so you choose one of them. And this Swift on security has a good file called Sysmon config -export.xml. So this is like a starting point or a base configuration that you can use for your Sysmon. So actually it's a kind of filters, exclusion and inclusion filters, for which events of interest you need to send. So you shouldn't be interested in everything, otherwise you will kill your QRadar with useless events. So events like process create, image load, this kind of things, you will find it here in the Sysmon export.xml. So as I said, you can consider this a good start point, and then you can add more. And also you can double check if you have any regulation that mandates specific Windows events to be there in your SIEM solution. You can go ahead and add it. So I already downloaded things on the 5.10, and I just pick from here the usage commands. So this is actually to make the installation. So we need to run with administrator rights and then execute this. You have also other things like updating the configuration, so -c instead of -accept EOLA, which is the first time of installation where you accept the license and put the configuration. This is if you just added, as I said, extra events or extra inclusion for events after you contacting your some regulators or some other sources. So you can just come to the same PC and run this command to update the configuration, or you can do it from your Microsoft SIEM or whatever the deployment tool in your environment, just to update the configuration instead of uninstalling and installing again. And this is how to force the, or to actually make the uninstallation. If you want to force, you can put the force keyword after that. So I connect here to the 5.10. So just to remind you guys, we are here now. So all of this first 5-6 exercises will be the first 5 exercises actually yes, will be done on the 5.10. So we are here now, and we need to open the command prompt as administrator, and then we will just navigate to this path. So it's in the C directory on share, then sysmon share. Okay, and we can put the command. Okay, so let's have a look about the sysmon configuration file. So basically it's a sysmon configuration. Okay, so you can check here the date at the beginning. All of this in green is just a comment because it's basically XML file. And the nice thing about the Notepad++ that it detects the format and you can change the language from here. So it detects that this is XML and it knows that this is a comment. So all of this is a comment up to here. So you can read the comments here and know the version. So always try to seek latest version. So this is the link from GitHub for Swift on security, or you can get a more updated one from your local policy or from some regulators or whatever. So basically it's tags like this and sections divided with some exclude and include for some command lines for the process create. You can see if you scroll down here, you will see some events being included or excluded. So some registry keys, when some registry event happens that include this. So it's very useful to have the sysmon installed in your environment. So back to the installation. Actually this one is the 32-bit. As we said, we have two versions installed. Actually, after I extracted the zip file, I got sysmon.exe and sysmon64.exe. This PC is 64-bit, so I will put the sysmon64 -accept EULA -I, the configuration file, and then here you see the configuration file validated. Installation is done. We can double check from the services, and we can see here the sysmon installed, the sysmon 64-bit. Okay, fine. So now we can move to the next exercise where we need to verify the prerequisites on the 5.10 regarding audit policy. Some things related to actually the user, that the service account. These two things are related to the service accounts that will be used to collect the logs, and also we need to allow the remote log management through local firewall. So if we go back here, this is the 223. If we go here and open local policy, okay, we need to validate that you have auditing enabled. Like the success and failures. So from the advanced audit policy configuration, you can check here account login. You see success, failure, account management. So actually I enabled most of the things, object access. Okay, so this should be there. If you this is the local policy, local group policy. If you have this machine joining a domain, so the group policy should be applied to the machine as well. Next, we need to check the in the local policies, you have here something called user rights assignment. So if you check the policy named manage auditing and security log, you have to make sure that service account, it is not necessarily to be an administrator account. So that's why I created here one account called QRadar SA. So basically I go to the computer management and created it. So I'll just repeat it to let you see how to do it. It's straightforward. This is the account I created. I create a new user, put it, give it any name like test or QRadar collection or whatever. so the user cannot change password, and the password never expires. This is very important. And you put here the whatever password, and that's it, and create. Okay, so I created this one, and then I come here as I was discussing with you, and added the account here. So you need to allow manage auditing and security log. Okay, next you need to enable the or add this account also for in the log readers. So here from the groups, you can see a built-in group called event log readers. So you want to make sure the QRadar SA is added. Okay, and finally from the control panel, you need to make sure that your firewall is allowing here the allow an app through Windows Firewall. So you change settings, and if you scroll down here, you have something called remote event log management. So actually this is related to remote polling, but so you can consider the prerequisites here we are doing for either local collection or remote collection. So for local collection, you don't need this, you don't need to create a service account in the first place, but I just wanted to the only thing will be the audit policy. You have to have audit policy on all cases, but for doing this remote event log management and for doing the event log readers, this is for remote polling. Okay, and this one. So let's say we have 4 prerequisites, guys. We have 4 prerequisites. All these 3 prerequisites are required for remote polling. Okay, required for remote polling. However, this one is only required for local collection. Okay, so now we verified that the 4 is in place for the account, and for the account called the QRadar SA. So this is a service account with password never expires. Okay, next we need to make the interactive installation of the WinCollect, then the configuration console, and then make the uninstallation. But before we uninstall, we will need to check QRadar that the logs are received. So going here, since we verified the prerequisites, we can now go to the folder WinCollect, where I have the binaries downloaded already. This is the WinCollect 7. This is the WinCollect standalone batch, which we will use to make the configuration console installation. This one we will use in the next lesson. I dedicate one lesson for WinCollect 10 because it's totally different way of doing installation. It's only for standalone, as we learned in the previous lesson. It's the interface is GUI is different. It's actually not GUI, I mean it's a web browser. You connect using your web browser, so it's a bit different. So I dedicate the 3rd lesson in this series of WinCollect for the WinCollect 10. Okay, so let's run as administrator the 7 WinCollect. So it's just welcoming you and preparing the installation, and then we accept the license, and then the username you can leave it as it is, and then make the installation. To ask you, we want managed or standalone. In our case here, we will make standalone installation, and here we will we can create the log source. So this is the automatic log source creation. So if you did not do this, guys, this will not give any logs to the QRadar. So the QRadar requires a log source for each and every WinCollect. Okay, so during the installation, you either choose to make automatic log source creation or you disable this. If you create log source, this will create a log source automatically for you in QRadar, and we will see it together. So if we search for now for John Smith, let's say here in the QRadar, okay, it's if we go here inside the admin page, okay, and search it for we have here something called log sources. It's nice application, natively now installed. Before we have to install it, now it's coming natively installed in version 7.4, I think, starting from 7.4. This one is 7.5. So if you go here to in data sources, click here on log sources, this will open the application here in a new tab. If you go to log sources, and if we search for John Smith and press enter, we will not find anything. Also, if we search for the IP for it, so 192.168.1.227, and you will ask me what is 227, I will explain this now. Will not find anything also. So I will get back to this 227 in a bit. So here we will put John Smith like Windows 10 PC, okay, something like this. This is the log source name and the log source identifier. You can put the same. Here you can enable the standard event logs. We will just make security for just saving the logs on the QRadar. And then next, here you put the destination name, so our QRadar console, and the destination name. Okay, so sorry, this is the name. So we put here QRadar console, something like this. The port 514 and the protocol is TCP. And here the polling interval is every 3 seconds. And the event rate tuning profile is 150. You have 3 tuning profiles actually. So based on the PC or the server you are installing, you select the one that suits your need. If you choose like a higher polling interval, you may consider like the second one or higher EPS. Okay, so let's stick for the 3000 and then press next. And this is status server, is something like alternative place to send the status messages in case the default one, which is the QRadar console, is failed or so. Okay, so leave this. This is heartbeat interval and the status server protocol UDP. So we have the event sent through TCP channel while the status messages are sent through UDP. You can select TCP as well. And finally, this is the command, guys, that I was talking about. So I will borrow this command and I will put it here in our lab to be used when we reach to the one for the silent installation. So I'll just reduce the font bit to see everything. Okay, so you can see this is the command. So WinCollect, this is the binary /qn. Here you can see for silent installation, this is the installation path, and here the log source creation enabled equal true. This is the option. I will show you where is this option came from. So back, next. So it's coming from here. So if I disable this one will be false and there will be no parameters. So actually these parameters depend on the value here. If it's true, you will get parameters. If it's false, this will be nothing or null. Okay, so since I selected this as, so if you disable this, I will show you here. See the command now. Let's take this command, okay, and put it here. See, the command is very short now. So the same thing, but now log source auto creation enabled equal false and no parameters. Okay, but we don't need this. We need to make actually a local collection. So this you do if you are not interested in local collection. Okay, you are just interested for installing the WinCollect agent, and later on you will since this is a standalone, you will install the configuration console, and from the configuration console you will add destinations, or you will add devices, let's say, to collect the logs from them, which these devices is actually nothing but the remote servers that you need to pull the logs from without installing the agent on them. So this is a case you can do if you just bring one server. The value of this server is just to pull the remote servers, and you are not interested in the logs of that server itself. Okay, this is not the case we are looking for, so I will delete this one. So I'll return back here. So hopefully things are saved for us. So yes, same things are saved. Okay, so you can change your mind during the installation. It's easy. Okay, and we come here now. The command is the big one. Okay, and then you press next, install, and the installation is very fast, as you can see. Finish. Now check the services, and we look for WinCollect. So I need to refresh, and now it's coming and running. Very good. So let's check our QRadar. I'll save this file. So now we go here. Actually, let's open another one. Okay, so actually we need to navigate to the log activity, and let's hope for the best to see some logs here. Yes, it's coming. The success failures are coming. User rights assigned. So things seems to be good, guys. We have the integration done. Now let's search for John Smith. Hopefully we can see the log source is auto created for us, and this is the syntax Windows authentication server, which is the log source type, or the log source at the name of the machine that we gave during the installation. It's enabled, and we can view the events right away from here as well. We can see here the logs are coming. Very good. So the integration is done, guys. So now one will ask, I need to make a configuration for this log source, or I need to maybe make remote polling from some machines or whatever. Here comes the value or the job of the configuration console. So this will bring us to the interactive installation of the configuration console. So connecting here, guys, we will initiate the installation of the configuration console. It's actually the batch. The batch is doing two things. It's actually updating the WinCollect, the current or the existing installation of your WinCollect. If you have an older version, it will update and also allow you to make the configuration console installation. So here it detected that it's the same version, so it will just make see, this is a standalone batch of the WinCollect, and this is the configuration console. So it will just install for us the configuration console since the WinCollect is already there. Okay, so after that we can open the GUI of the configuration console and start making changes, like for example adding the XPath for the sysmon to see sysmon logs also into our QRadar. Okay, so let's check now for the configuration console. So it should be, yeah, you see here WinCollect configuration console. So it's very easy tool to manage your local installation and also to make remote polling for other PCs. So basically you have the global configuration, you have the destinations, okay, and devices, destination, global configuration. The global configuration is nothing but the configuration for the global configuration for the WinCollect itself that will apply for all your other configurations like destinations and devices, including the disk manager for setting the capacity for local storage, which is by default 6 GB under this path. So for as we get to know that the WinCollect can store and events in case the QRadar is down or the collector is down, so it can store for some time, but the maximum here for the capacity is 6 GB. You can configure this as well, and the security manager where you can add credential in case you want to make remote polling, and we will learn about this in the following exercises. And here you will see the destinations, whether syslog TCP or syslog UDP. Since we added syslog TCP in the installation, the interactive installation we did, so we'll see here QRadar console is our destination. Okay, and these are the details like the failover timeout. So if you want to add another destination in case this console, or actually we are talking to the collector component of the console, so if this collector is down you can switch to another collector. So this is the beauty about destinations in the WinCollect. This is the failover timeout. It's like 1800 seconds, maybe it's like 30 minutes. Okay, you can tune this. Also you have here like the throttle events per second, so the maximum you can send to this destination is 5000. As we said, this is local collection, so the maximum is 500 EPS. You can tune this as well. You can put the certificate if you choose to make encrypted connection. You can put the public certificate from the QRadar here, so you can, the 5.10 is able to encrypt the traffic before sending it. And for the devices, we see here the Microsoft Windows event log is the log source we have configured for this PC, and actually the protocol used is the MSEVN6, Microsoft Event 6. This is the latest one. This is the best one to choose, and the timestamp for that is seconds. You can choose milliseconds if you want. And here you have the configuration that we put through the wizard, and we have other things we will come across shortly. The thing that I want to add here is the XPath query for including the sysmon. So someone will say, why not to do this from the QRadar itself? So if we come here from the QRadar, we have the log source, we can edit and try to add this. Actually, this will not be feasible from the log source, because the protocol here is syslog. The QRadar does not understand anything about the WinCollect in place. This is a standalone installation, so the QRadar doesn't care who sent the syslog. Actually, he has no visibility that this is IBM WinCollect. Maybe this is another tool for extracting the event logs from the Windows API and getting the logs into syslog, and so the QRadar here doesn't care. It's the protocol type is syslog. So XPath is something related to the WinCollect, so you will not find any way to do it from the QRadar. So this is the bad thing about the standalone configuration, that you need to manage the configuration of your WinCollect agents on your own, either to choose the configuration console, or you make the things through the silent installation, as we will learn shortly when we go to the following exercise about silent installation, and where we can include the XPath as well. Still, the configuration console is important for things like the filtering or others. All of this can be, for more or less, you can control through silent installation, but the configuration console is pretty easy to deal with. Okay, so to get the XPath, actually you need to open the event viewer. Okay, and then from the event viewer you will find the path for the sysmon. Actually, it is not in the standard folder of the Windows log, those guys. It will be in the application and services logs. So from here you next expand Microsoft and then Windows, and then come to the sysmon. So you can write sysmon, and here operational, right click and create custom view, and you take the XML. Okay, so we can get this in Notepad. No need for Notepad++ this. And also you can avoid any problems like extra spaces or line breaks, and I prefer to do this. So I remove any things like this and just take the one line and copy it, paste it here, and then I'm ready. As you can see, we have here the destination required. So this is a connection actually between the configuration of the device and the devices. QRadar console, now you are ready to deploy the changes. It will tell you changes applied successfully. So you are ready to go, and we can check now QRadar for its logs. So I think these unknowns are maybe the things related to either the heartbeats or some sysmon the first time QRadar see them. Okay, you can always check from the payload. So actually these are heartbeats or things like not related to sysmon. Okay, so let's wait for some time and we should start to see sysmon logs as well. So I'm back again, guys, to check sysmon. So we can try to scroll to see if there is any. So we can see some of them like file create, process create. Also you can verify from the search like this and press enter. So just take a look here, guys, about the current filter. When I press search, it will be added. The sysmon is added here. Quick filter is sysmon. So you have to wait for new logs with the sysmon actually in the payload. So maybe these guys was in the queue pipeline already. So if you want to check for last hour or so, we can return and check. So again, we can see here good events like process create, file create, and so on. Okay, so returning back to the event stream of the John Smith PC. If we clear the sysmon and return to the live stream, we can see many events coming with big amount of event count. Actually, the WinCollect or the log source is doing a great job in coalescing the events, like 14,000. You see a lot of events coming that maybe is not necessarily to have all of these events in your QRadar. So I will just show you how to add the event ID and the log source type, so you can have more visibility about the origin of these events. So if we go to edit the search, and here we can add the event ID and the log source type to the columns, and we can select both of them and move them together up, so we can put it to the left of the screen. So let's say after the event ID, we can take it at the beginning, and then the event name, the log source type, and then the log source and the event count, or we can move the event count here as well, so all the events things together, and then log source type, log source. And we can save this custom layout for future use, so we can call it Windows schema, for example. Save the layout so you can call it later, and then search. Actually things will start to come with the event name and the event count. Here you see the event count, and this is the event ID. So it seems that this event ID, the 4703, is a noisy event. It's sending like 16,000 events in a shot, one shot, and the QRadar is or the WinCollect and the collectors are able to make this coalescing or aggregation of the events. So why not to exclude this, guys, and remove it from the WinCollect? And fortunately the configuration console can help us to do this task. So if we go here, and we're still in the page of the WinCollect configuration console, we can see here after the event log all protocol, we have security, and then the filter for security, system, and the filter for system, and so on. Remember that we did not select system or application during the interactive installation. That's why these checkboxes are not selected, and same for DNS and so on. So if you go for the security log type filter, you have here some exclusion filter. You can select exclusion filter and put the event ID that you would like to exclude, or inclusion filter, and you put the event IDs you want to exclude. To include, or to select this pre-built filter, the NSA event filter, which includes already the events of interest. So actually this error was for the selection of exclusion filter or the inclusion filter. At the beginning they were empty, so it was giving this. So anyway, so this is the NSA event filter pre-built with this event ID. So if you notice here, guys, actually if you need to put multiple events, you have to separate them with comma. If you want to exclude, I think you need to put the minus before it, or maybe this is in WinCollect 10. We'll see this in WinCollect 10 lesson. So anyway, here this events will be sent to the QRadar, and if you notice, guys, they are ordered in increasing order or ascending order. So the 4703 is not there, so which means that our conclusion that this 4703 is very noisy, and we can get rid of it safely. It's only about user right was adjusted. So if you are interested for it, you can keep, but this is a recommended filter in the WinCollect, we can see. So we can deploy the change. Okay, and this should be removed from the syslog, and you will save your EPS. So this unknown log event is regarding the heartbeats and those kinds of things. As you can see, they are not parsed or recognized by the QRadar. No problem. I think this is intentionally made because it's actually not a Windows event. This is a WinCollect native event for heartbeat and so on. Okay, so you will start seeing events that have less event count. So I think we now finished the configuration console. Now remaining for us is to uninstall the configuration console and the WinCollect from the control panel. So it's easy task. First we need to close the configuration console and then open control panel. And from the control panel, so you can search for programs, add remove programs. So here you can uninstall a program, and simply you can come here and remove the WinCollect configuration console first, and then you can remove the WinCollect. So after these actions, the logs will stop coming to QRadar, and this will allow us to start with the second exercise. Okay, so here you can see the uninstallation process is very fast and simple. Do we have anything in the background? Let me minimize this, guys. No, it's going fine. So here, okay, so actually it tells you that the WinCollect is already run, and shall I close it? If you try to continue, it will tell you, no, I cannot. So it's better that you come here and stop it manually. So we can come here, stop, and then we can continue the uninstallation, where this record will be removed from the services. So let's wait and refresh now. Yeah, so now it is removed. And if we return to the QRadar, so the events, now you can start seeing here some few heartbeats before the WinCollect died. So see application stopping. Okay, so that's fine. But before we move to the second exercise, one may ask, what is the 1.227 IP? And I already mentioned it a few minutes back, but I need to now explain it. So actually the coming exercise will make silent installation. So we will leverage this command and make the silent installation, and later on we will try to make remote polling of the 5.10. So actually we will not install the WinCollect agent this time on 5.10. No, we will install it on 2.2.3 and try to make remote polling for 5.10. So this is my lab diagram. So in the previous exercise we installed the WinCollect here, so our life was very easy. We don't care about reachability, connectivity, all is local installation. And as we said, local installation is the best for busy servers like domain controllers, and it will make your life easier. However, in some scenarios you are not allowed to install on the server itself or on the PC, and you are allowed only to make remote polling. So assume this is our case now. So we'll install the WinCollect agent here, and we will instruct the WinCollect agent to remote poll the Windows 10 5.10 the 5.10 PC. Okay, that's why I removed the WinCollect from here before starting with this exercise. So actually my lab has some restrictions. I will just explain it quickly. So here I mentioned that in maybe a previous lesson about the network bridge that I have here, and the line of sight between 2.2.3 and 5.10 is broken. Actually I cannot, there is no routing between this machine and this machine, so I have to connect to the firewall, and the firewall will redirect me to the 5.10. It's more or less same scenario that we did for the NextSync in the NextSync QRadar integration, where the NextSync was here as well, connected to the VMnet 1. But I just removed this, it's no longer needed for our WinCollect exercise. So the same thing here, I created NAT on this interface, where I can connect to the 2.2.7. This is routable and reachable by the 2.2.3 PC, and the firewall will take care of the routing, NATing, and everything. So basically we can open the firewall here, and if we go to the policy and objects, we have a virtual IP, same like the one we created for the NextSync QRadar integration. This time it's for John Smith's PC, so I created like John Smith's public virtual IP, where the NATing will take place from 2.2.7 to 5.10. So the same thing I wrote here. And if you go to the firewall policy, you will see the rule added in the same zone or section of QRadar NextSync integration. So John Smith's access, where any source can connect to the public IP of John Smith, which is 2.2.7, and this will translate to the internal IP 5.10. and also I make source netting, so the traffic coming here will be netted by the source interface, this one 5.250, because again 5.10 has no idea about this 1.1.x subnet. It's only aware about this 5 subnet. So the source netting here will help in making the connectivity very clear, or the end-to-end connection between 1.223 and 5.10 is okay. So that's why I just put the IP 1.2.227 in the coming exercise, and also it was revealed to us by QRadar itself when it read the logs from the machine. Actually, this is the IP of the log received from the WinCollect, or read by the WinCollect and sent to the QRadar. So this is the IP. Okay, so now we will need this IP when we configure the remote polling, as we will see shortly. Okay, so if you did not understand this, it's not a showstopper for understanding the rest of this lesson. However, I encourage you guys to practice such connectivity things in your lab on your own time. This will improve your network skills, and it's important because the SIEM solution requires strong network skills, because most of the time you are talking about connectivity between the log source and your QRadar collectors, or whatever the destination in your QRadar deployment. The connectivity is very important. You will not just wait for the customer and tell him, please send me the logs. It's not like that. You have to work with the customer and explore the different options that you can use to get the logs from the source point to the destination point. And especially with WinCollect deployments, this kind of things, if you remember guys, when we talked about the use cases of the retail, and the retail, yes, with the point of sale registers, the line of sight was a concern in selecting the best deployment that suits your needs. So connectivity is important. Network essentials is important. So for example, you can, if you have a case like this, you can propose to the customer, why not to make this netting and have the reachability as we want. But please note that the drawback of this, that you will see the IP as 227, the real IP you will not see in QRadar. Okay, so coming back to our exercise here, so we will make the silent installation from the command prompt using the /qn. So we already borrowed the command from the interactive installation. I will explain now the details of this command. So again, standalone and local collection, so same like the previous exercise, but instead of interactive, we will do it silently, and including setting an XPath parameter in the automated installation. So if you remember, after we make the interactive installation of the WinCollect, we had to make the interactive, or the installation of the configuration console, to be able to add the XPath. So fortunately here we have a way to make the XPath, or to include the XPath parameter inside the silent installation. So you will have this in place without installing the configuration console, or without actually relying on the configuration console, because we will also install the configuration console to configure the remote polling as per these 3 steps. Okay, so let's now explain for you this command parameters, guys. So the first thing is just the executable, and then these parameters including the /qn for silent installer. This is a directory, and this is the log source creation enabled equal true, which means that please create for me a log source based on the coming parameters, which is the log source parameter. So you can see all of these are the log source parameters. So you notice here a lot of double quotes. So actually this is the starting double quote, and this is the last one. Okay, and then you have here another double quote, but this one is the start for the directory, and this is the end. So those are the start and end double quotes. So still this one has no closing quote. This one is another quote starting. This one is another quote starting. Okay, where you put a lot of components to explain or to define the parameters for the log source. And this quote here ends this quote, okay, and this double quote, and this double quote ends this double quote, and this double quote ends this one. So fortunately, and I recommend you guys, you don't need to write all of this. Actually, you just run the installer once in interactive mode, and you will get the command, and then generalize the command as we will do now, and then take it for larger deployment. So how to generalize? From here, John Smith Windows 10 PC, we can make it like this: computer name. So you can give this command to the custodian or the person responsible for Microsoft SIEM, and tell him this command, and take it and apply it on like 1000 PCs. So every PC will just accept the command and will include its computer name instead of John Smith or specific one. And again, we can put computer name for the identifier, okay, and you can see that the rest are all generic parameters correspond to the destination, QRadar console, the host name, the port, the channel is TCP. We selected security. We didn't select system or application or DNS or file replication or directory service. The remote machine polling interval was 3 seconds or 3000 milliseconds. The tuning profile, the default, which is the endpoint profile, and this corresponds to 100 EPS minimum and 150 EPS maximum. So all of this, guys, are I just borrowed from the interactive installation. So you can run the interactive installation and take the command. Even you cannot, you can choose not to continue with the interactive installation, just to get the command with all the parameters you configured through the wizard, and then you use this command after generalizing the variable or the specific names to the computer name. After generalizing it, you can give it to the system admin for Microsoft SIEM to push it among larger endpoints. And please verify if you have any spelling mistake here before continuing. So I'll just take this and go to my 5.10 PC, for example, the one that we will make the remote polling for, and I will try to echo the same thing I wrote there, and it's wrong. Something is wrong. Yeah, I missed the E at the end, computer name. So now it's coming correctly. So I need to put an E here, and also I need to put an E here. Now remaining for us is the XPath. So we need to know the parameter. It should be something here like component1.query or something like this, to and then we convert the XPath to the base 64 encoding. So remember, guys, from the articles we discussed in the previous lesson, so this is how to set the XPath parameter during automatic installation. So first you need to transfer this or convert this to base 64 encoding, and then you can use the parameter called custom query. So I just need to put and component1.custom query base 64 equal the encoded value. So I will copy this. I come here. I will just put it. I think we can put anywhere, but let's put it in the same position before the tuning profile. So the tuning profile. So let's put it here. So I put here extra. So this and is extra, so I have and the custom query and then another and. So now we need to get the XPath. So the XPath we already extracted before. So this I will take for this suggested website where you can make the base 64 encoding. So you put here the query and then encode, and this is the result. We will take it and return back to our hands-on and replace this with the encoded text. Okay, so it's ending with and then the other component. So now we are ready for the sign installation. So before, let's disable the word wrap to put this long command in one line to avoid any line breaks. So I just disabled here the word wrap, as you can see. So it comes in actually like 2 lines. So just double check if there is any kind of spaces or line breaks, or I'm just checking quickly. Anyway, if the command is wrong or contains such things, it will give us an error. So you can see here there is one space. So let's remove this one. Again, I'm checking. Make sure that it is continuous command. You can like zoom out, try to figure out if there is any wrong thing in the command. So I'll take the command and I will apply it in as per our exercise. Should apply it here on 2 to 3. Okay, so silent installation from the command line using the /qn of WinCollect standalone local collection, including setting an XPath parameter in automated installation. So we are ready to do that. So I will connect to 1, 2 to 3. I open CMD as command as administrator, and you can see the binary here. So I just paste it. Let's validate first that we don't have any WinCollect installed here. Okay, so again here you can see no WinCollect, so it should come here. Okay, let's press enter. Okay, so is not recognized. Okay, sorry, I have to switch to this path. So I need to go to server, share, cd WinCollect, and then I execute the command. So see this circle rotating, which means something is being installed. So we can check on the here, and we can see WinCollect is running now. We can return now to QRadar, check things. So you can see here the logs are get into QRadar and it's recognized. So the log source is created automatically for us, so we can search for this machine. Its IP is 192.168.1.223. So hopefully we can locate it. So I think the identifier was the computer name. So what is the computer name? You can see it here. Yeah, so this is the log source, desktop something. So we can search with the word desktop. Actually this is the yeah, this one. If we go here and echo the computer name, so it will return. So I wrote something wrong. Computer. Sorry, it's the percentage, not $sign. So it's desktop something. Okay, so we can see the option of log source auto creation enabled true is saving us the extra steps of creating the source on the QRadar and then pushing the log source. So this is when you manually add the log source, you need to go to the admin tab and log sources, add the log source, and then push make the deployment. And in that case, the log source is sslog log source. Okay, so you can see it's a log source. So this is created for us, and you can see it's just created for us 4 minutes ago. Okay, so this is the beauty of silent installation. So imagine you are doing this for 1000 PCs. All of them will get integrated automatically and the logs will be recognized, and the log sources will be created automatically for you. So this brings us to the next exercise. So we finished 6 now. We applied this command. This one helped us. We extracted this from the interactive installation, and we just tweaked. I will return to the word wrap to make it more clear for you guys. So we extracted this actually from the interactive, as we said, and we just changed the make it computer name instead of the physical name of, or the specific name. So now we can move to the 7th exercise, which is silent installation of the configuration console. So we can borrow the command from the IBM. So from here, this is the installation of the configuration console. Okay, so we will do it on 223 again. So we are here, guys, now. Okay, so we did this exactly on 5.10, but we did it in interactive mode. Now we are doing it in the silent mode, so you can know how to do it in a production environment using SCM tools or any deployment tool. So we come here, okay, and paste. So actually this is the binaries, so we'll utilize this one. So we need the WinCollect, this one standalone, and then we put the so the copy was not taken. Come back again. Actually I need to take only this part. Okay, so we come here and paste it. So it's again /qn means silent installation. So after a few seconds we should find the configuration console in the start menu. So we can see now, guys, the configuration console. It's installed. Actually from here you can open it, so you can see the devices. We have the PC name as revealed by the computer name variable. Okay, we have the credential is a local system. We will see shortly how to define credential to use for remote polling, and the parameters that we included in the silent installation, like the 3 seconds polling interval. Actually these are defaults that are there. We didn't specify any filtering. We put the XPath as in automated silent installation, so it's already there. We have the QRadar console assigned. So actually the QRadar console in the destinations in the syslog TCP is assigned to this device. Okay, and you can see here the details of the QRadar console. So this actually ends this exercise. So the silent installation is done, and we seen the log source is created for us automatically. So here in the QRadar, we have in the log sources, we can see it created. Also we installed the configuration console, and we were able to see all the configuration we performed here, including the XPath is existing. So now we can move to exercise or step number 8 to configure the remote polling. So actually we need first to create a credential for the 5.10, the service account that we used for the connection to or to collect the logs from 5 to 10. Actually the steps we did here for configuring a service account called QRadar SA, and we added it to the log readers group, and we included it in the remote polling, the manage auditing policy, and so we are ready now to configure the credential. So from the configuration console, we don't even need to open the 5.10. So this is a beauty of remote polling. So actually we need to open the configuration console. not this one, this one, yeah. And here you have in the global configuration, the security manager, you can right click and add new credential. So we can name it Win10 PC John Smith. Okay, and then we can add the credential. So if it's a domain username, so actually this is a global configuration, so you can name it more generic name and apply the domain admin service account if you are facing troubles to collect the logs from some devices or some PCs in the domain. However, they have very restricted GPO policy that requires domain admin, or if the case is normal and you have a service account that is not administrator, but it is fulfilling the requirements or the prerequisites that we mentioned regarding the audit policies, enabled the remote log management through local firewall policies done, the users rights management is there, the log reader group is added. So like our case here, so you just add it here, and actually this should be shared among all the devices here. So this is a global configuration applied for all the devices defined. So this is again something good or easy to manage. You create one credential here in the global configuration, and it applies for any device that you define for remote polling. And then I put the password, and then I can confirm the password. Then if there is a domain, you put it here, and then deploy the changes, okay, to save this configuration. Next we need to define our new device. It's again Microsoft Windows event log. So we come here, so let's wait for the this message should come first. So you come here and add new device. So this time we will put again the same name. Actually this is a specific case for John Smith, but if it's as I mentioned, if it's a shared service account among multiple devices, you can name it something different. And then from here you start add your configuration, actually this one. So the device address you need to put here 192.168.1.227. so actually, as we explained before, this is the IP understood by 223. So this is a line of sight of 223 towards 5.10. okay, so we put this IP. The credential will not use a local system, we need to use the one we defined in the security manager. Okay, and the tuning profile, again leave default, it's an endpoint. You can put again the filter, the NSA event filter. You can put the XPath, so actually we can take it from here. And for this one we forgot to make the filtering, so we can also apply the filtering for this one, and we can borrow from it the XPath. It should be the same path, so we can put it here. You enable whatever you want, so we can enable other things as well. So I put here the XPath. Okay, and so if you have forwarded events, so actually this is a configuration for the WEF scenario that this desktop or this log source Win10 PC, if it's a WEF server, so you can define how the source identifier of the forwarded events. So you can put some identifier will identify your forward events by their source. You have other options like change to WIC to use the event collector's address, or put in a custom identifier. So you have three options: source, So the forward events will be defined by its source, or WEC to define by the collector, or any other custom identifier. So this is not our case, but just I wanted to highlight this. So even your remote polling can be done for another WIF server, you know, that consolidating the events beforehand, before reaching to the WinCollect server. Okay, so I think we are ready to deploy the changes. No, we still need to add the destination, which is the QRadar console. Okay, so now we are ready, so we can deploy the changes. Okay, that's good. We can close this one, and we can okay, sorry, close that. We can verify WinCollect is running, everything seems good. So we can check now on QRadar. So we can see here this, I think, the heartbeats, so we can ignore this one. Okay, and we can see the events coming, and the log source is created. So it's 192.168.1.227, the IP here, okay, that we configure for remote polling. So in fact this is the 192.168.5.10. okay, so you can see here, this, for example, a log for sysmon. So even the sysmon is there. So if we open here, you can see this sysmon. So even the query, the XPath is accepted, and the desktop PC, which is 223, is able to remote poll the logs, standard one and the sysmon ones. Okay, and if we checked here in the admin tab, if we go to the log sources, we will be able to see that this log source is automatically created for us. So if we come here, right, for example 112, this is the name I can see here. Okay, and we press enter, so it's created for us. Okay, so that's good. Okay guys, so now we can move to, we finished this one, configure remote polling. We now need to uninstall both the configuration console first, and then the WinCollect agent from the command prompt, so we can borrow the commands from here. This is for the configuration console, so we just need the parameter, and we have the binary name already there, so we just need to open CMD as administrator, and then we can browse to the folder. So actually the folder that contains the binary are here, so need to step out one more, and then go to server share, and then WinCollect, and then the WinCollect batch, not this one, sorry, I need this one, yeah, and then the parameters. So we put here the name of the binary, not this one, this one, and then the parameters, and press enter. So we can see something running in the background, this circle coming from now and then, and in few seconds we should see the WinCollect configuration console gone from the start menu. Also we can double check from the control panel or whatever, so we can see it's not there anymore. Also you can double check from the control panel. Okay, so uninstall a program, now you will see only the WinCollect. Okay, so next we need to make the uninstallation of the WinCollect agent itself, so this command will help us to do this task. So going here, you can also paste this one again, it's /qn for uninstalling in silent mode. So this commands you can use on wide scale. Okay, and here we can track the WinCollect. By refreshing, it should stop the WinCollect and then remove the record altogether. So as I told you, this server is quite busy, and it should remove the WinCollect. So let's refresh again. Okay, now we can see it's no longer running, and I hope it's gone. خلاص. So this is how you can uninstall from the command prompt in silent mode. Okay, so if we return back to the QRadar, so the logs should stop. You can see here from these messages that service stopped. Okay, so this is good. Let's move to the following exercise. Is the interactive installation of the WinCollect in managed mode, this time for local collection from 2 to 3, and then we need to add the log source again. So same exercise for remote polling, but this time we will make the addition from the QRadar console because it's now in managed mode, not in standalone like the previous one. Okay, so actually we added here the 5.10 from the WinCollect configuration console. In the managed mode you are adding it from the QRadar console. Okay, so let's make some cleanup for the previous exercise. Actually, just need to come here and delete this log source. If we just search for it again, 192.168.1.227, if we search for it again, it will be still available. So let's delete it just as hygiene way of making sure we don't have any residuals that can affect our labs or the next exercise. So now we can start proceeding. So actually I don't have here any WinCollect or any configuration console or anything, so we are ready for this exercise where we will run this one as administrator. And this time we will select the manage mode, and we will see the different steps here. So similar till now. Okay, let's leave the username. Now managed mode. Okay, so the host identifier. Okay, for the managed mode, so this is BC. Let's leave it, or we can change. Let's make it different, like managed. Can distinguish it from any previous logs with this previous host identifier. So now we have a new host identifier, and the authentication token we generated before from the QRadar console. So let's copy it and paste it here. Now the configuration console is our QRadar. Okay, and leave. This is the port for like exchanging the configuration and the updates from the QRadar. Okay, and here we will create log source because our exercise we want to make a local collection as well from 2 to 3. Despite that we don't have much logs or auditing enabled for 2 to 3, we did not do these things like what we did for the 5.10. So let's do the local collection also, and then we will configure the log source 5.10 through the net IP which is 227. So returning back here, the log source identifier, we can make it again managed. Log source identifier, make it managed. The destination name. Okay, so this is something unique about managed mode. You have to define something called destination. So if we go here in QRadar and go to the admin tab, here in the WinCollect, okay, you open it, and till now we don't have any agents. The agent should appear here after we finish the installation, but before you continue with the installation of the agent in managed mode, you should define the destination. If you are planning for local collection, you have to have a destination. Okay, so here I will add a new WinCollect destination. We can name it like local destination. Okay, the host name is 192.168.1.2.222, or if it's distributed deployment, so you can define here the host name like other event processor or collector. The protocol is UDP. Okay, you can change to make it TCP or whatever, so let's make it TCP, and TCP will allow you to make a secondary destination. This is a nice feature for in the managed mode, which allows you to fail over to a secondary destination if the first one has failed. So, and this is the second failover. Actually, we saw this also in the WinCollect configuration console. So the option is available only with TCP or the TCP TLS. Even TCP LTLS is not available, so only with TCP the option is available. Okay, and this is the failover in seconds. Okay, so, and this is a throttle, like the number of events. So actually, if you remember guys, in the WinCollect configuration console, which we use for the standalone, we have the destination. We define the destination in the manual mode. We define the destination, we define the device, and we connect the device with the destination. So for the managed mode, since it's all managed by the QRadar console, you need to define the destination beforehand of installing the agent in managed mode on the device itself. Okay, so remember this name guys, we will use it. I will take it as a copy and I will use it for the installation over there. So I put this underscore to make it like one word, and then we can here create something called schedule. So schedule is nothing but to define some period in the week. Like for example, in the weekends only, I need the traffic or the logs to be forwarded. So because all the week we are busy, so assume this is an Arabic country where the weekend is Friday and Saturday, so we just need the logs to be forwarded during the weekends, or the other way around. We need you can define it as a store. Actually, you have two modes, the forward or the store. So you can define the store during the week days, and the forward will be in the week ends. So this is a good option that you can use and control your bandwidths. If you did not define this one, so the default will be to forward all the time. It's so it will be like a near real time. Okay, so we can save this one. Okay, and let's check if we need to deploy and change. No changes, fortunately. So we'll come here and we will put the destination name as local underscore destination. Select your log sources and press next. As usual, the polling interval, the event rate, and here is the status server. And this is a command that we can borrow for our next exercise. Okay, next, install, and here I will just put the command here for the next exercise. We'll come to it when we go for this exercise. Actually we will modify it for XPath and other things. So let's continue with our interactive installation. It's done. Finish. Okay, very good. So let's check WinCollect. We'll come here. Yes, it's coming and running. Let's go to QRadar and check now. If you checked here the WinCollect agents, before it was empty, so we should see something. So this means that we have something missing. So if we return to the logs, actually you can see errors. Okay, if we check here the errors, it's telling that cannot connect to configuration server. So it seems the connectivity has some problem. Okay, if we return to the articles by QRadar, so we can see here that we have a prerequisites for the communication between WinCollect agents and QRadar. In the case of the managed mode, so this port is used for managing the WinCollect agents to request and receive code and configuration updates. Traffic is always initiated from the WinCollect agent and is sent over TCP communication. Communication is encrypted by using QRadar console's public key and the configuration server.pem file on the target. So we can see here also, I will stop this. If we check here, actually we have errors and warning. So the error is regarding the communication. So there is no connectivity between the WinCollect agent on server 223 and the QRadar, and we have a warning telling that the certificate presented by the configuration server was either missing or its chain was not validated. Actually it's missing because again the communication is has a problem. So this is what is meant here by the certificate. So actually you can replace the default certificate and put another certificate, and in that case you need to import the custom certificate on the agent. So for now we need to enable the communication between, actually need to enable it by directional rule. So if we come here, how to open a port on the firewall, so actually have something called IB tables. So you need to enable a firewall. Also you can check from the PuTTY itself for if you connect to the QRadar. So if we connect and issue TCP dump, so TCP dump is the best tool to tell us if we have some connectivity or some firewall problem. So if we issue TCP dump on any interface and port 8143, actually before issuing this command, let's make sure that the QRadar is listening on this port. So if netstat -all and grep -I 8143, so sorry, 8413. So let me double check. 8413, yes. So it's listening. So let's issue the TCP dump. Okay, and let's see if we have any connectivity issue. So we can make it again. So actually, like if we put this is just to show the hexadecimal. So if we have any traffic, like we can see here, yeah, the 223 is trying to connect. It's just SYN packet, no SYN ACK. So this means that we don't have, see, SYN without ACK. So this confirms the connectivity issue. So we need to just apply some firewall, and this time firewall rule to open the way. So I'll put 8413. Firewall ID is not running. So if this is the case, you can check the earlier versions of Red Hat or CentOS. So we can try this one. Okay, so this time we'll make it yeah, it's IB tables, actually not firewall D, and this is should be the port 8413. Okay, and then need to save this. Okay, it's saved. So let's return back to QRadar, wish for the best. Now the connectivity will be there. You can see here some heartbeat service are running. Maybe we can check here in the WinCollect if we have anything new. Yeah, see, now the agent is seen, so it was indeed some connectivity problem. So the agent is seen now, and see the in the deployment we need to push the log source for things to here the log source actually is the WinCollect DSM, and the desktop managed desktop, the 223 PC, and the DSM for managing the PC remotely. So we'll deploy the changes. So the deployment is in progress, so shortly we should see it finished, and we can go for the log activity and check for events coming. Still not yet finished. And then we will move to, yeah, it's done. And then we need to add the log source from the QRadar console. But first let's make sure that things get or events started to come. So let's refresh log activity. Meanwhile, we can add the log source, no problem, as long as we see the agent in the WinCollect tab, so we are good. So we need to add the 5.10. Actually, we will add the 227 IP. Okay, so we'll come here, and if we search for 223, there is no log for 223 actually. Yeah, there is no log for 223. So we need to add a new log source, single log source. Okay, and then you will select Windows, as we did in the for the source. Log source type is Windows, as we did exactly in the standalone. However, here you will select WinCollect, not syslog like we did in the standalone syslog. No, here we will select WinCollect. Now it's managed, so the QRadar is communicating with the WinCollect agent using the WinCollect protocol. It's encrypted protocol. Okay, and the name we can give, we have here one error still. This is application heartbeat. So what is the error? Cannot connect to configuration server again. I think maybe these are old things, or let's wait for some time. Okay, so coming back, so I'll put here John Smith. Okay, Win 10 PC, and then we have to select the target internal destination. So we will select the local destination that we created prior to the WinCollect agent installation. We created on the QRadar console from the admin tab. If you remember, guys, when we come here and we added the destination, and actually we used it in the configuration of the wizard, the interactive configuration wizard, or installation wizard actually, of the WinCollect. And this is the agent, as we said, and currently the WinCollect agent is collecting events from one log, and in fact this log source is the local collection. If you remember, when we make the installation, we make local collection. So this is the local collection of the 223 PC itself. So actually this is the log source name. Yeah, with the managed. So if we search for it here, the word managed, this is the one referred to by WinCollect DSM desktop managed, this one. And now we are adding one for remote polling. So actually we are doing this step for adding step 12. We are adding 5.10 as a log source for the managed agent from QRadar console. So let's proceed. So after we did that, it should come here as 2 instead of 1. Okay, so let's continue. So we selected the local destination, and we can continue the log source identifier. I put the same thing here. It's not a local system, so the log source identifier, actually you have to put the IP, not the name, because this is the way you connect, or the agent will be able to connect to the, or to pull the logs from the 5.10. So we put here the 192.168.1.227. okay, so exactly what we did with the standalone when we defined a device for remote polling. When we defined the credential and then the device for remote polling, we used the same IP 227. So now guys, we are not using syslog. It's actually like a bi-directional thing. So this time it is I remove this one, syslog. It's actually like a 2-directional. okay, and the protocol this time is WinCollect port 8413. okay, so now we understood the IP is 227, the username is QRadar SA, the service account, and we already used it for the standalone also. And here I put the password. I leave the other thing as it is, security and the XPath. So exactly the same configurations that we did for from the standalone the configuration console. Now you are doing it over the QRadar console because you are managing the agent from the QRadar console. So again, the XPath we can use the this one for the XPath. This one is the one with no spaces and no line breaks, so this one. And then you can apply the NSA event filter to remove the 4703, the noisy one. And finally you have to select the agent, so we will select our agent here, the managed one. So now you are done. Okay, the log source is defined. Let's check if we need to deploy anything. And here, yeah, we need to deploy the agent. So don't worry about this. It's not, it will not be like adding one by one. If you have 10, you can make them in bulk, as we will learn in the last exercise 16. Okay, so we'll deploy the changes. So I will stop and come back after the deployment. So the deployment has finished. So let's go back. So you can see now logs start to come, and it's unknown log event. Okay, so it's actually the originating computer is next to John Smith. So after some time, this log will logs will be recognized. So let's wait for some time. Actually, if we come here and search for John Smith, we can see the events, the unknown events. Still no results. Okay, let's wait for some time. So now we started to see events that is being parsed correctly. So this is something normal in QRadar. When it receives logs for a new log source, it takes some time, or actually it needs like 20 to 30 logs will come as unknown until it recognizes the log source and start to normalize and parse it. Okay, great. So this finish this exercise. Okay, so now we need to delete the WinCollect from the QRadar console, and this will disable the log source. Okay, and actually exercise for or step 14 is add destination QRadar. We will leave the same destination, so we already added it. It was actually a prerequisite for even the interactive installation, so I should make it here. Okay, so I'll make this 13 and this 14, this 15. Okay, sorry, so 11, 12, 13, 14, so just reordering 15, 16. So last two will be remaining for us after the deletion of the WinCollect from the QRadar console. And for sure we need to also uninstall the WinCollect agent. So we'll come here and delete the agent from the QRadar console. So from here, yes, data sources, WinCollect. So let's delete it. Okay, and I will leave the destination. Okay, and if we check now the log sources, so let's close this. If we check the log sources, okay, and search for John Smith's PC, we should see it as disabled. So yes, because as we said here in the exercise, that deleting the WinCollect from the QRadar console disabled the log source. So we will delete it now also, just to make sure that we are ready for the next exercise. Okay, we don't have anything related to 227 or okay, so this one is maybe from the old installation of or maybe previous exercise, so let's delete this one as well. Okay, actually this is good for avoiding any conflicts for the coming exercises. Okay, so now we are ready for this exercise. So actually we will utilize the command generated from the interactive installation to make the silent installation. So let's review the command, and we need also to add the XPath. So the command is simple. We saw it before here for the standalone, if you remember, guys, but this time it will have some more attributes unique for manage. So full console address, for example, was not here, if you remember. So full console address, and as you can see, the port coming as 8413, and instead here of we just configured the host name and the port as 514. No, this again is because this is a managed WinCollect agent installation. Okay, and then the host name, this is the name of the host name, and the log source auto creation enable true. So the log source auto creation parameter, this is the things that we saw it before in the standalone. So we'll do the same. We'll just borrow it from here. So we'll take computer name and put it here. Okay, for the log source name, and we can add other like after that, sorry, so it will be here. I took extra and, so you can add the number, like this is number 2, for example, or anything else, or a name like company, anything to be appended to the computer name itself. Can do the same thing here for the identifier. Okay, till here. Then we have, this is the channels for the event system, the DNS server, application, security, replication, directory, service, and the local destination. Okay, this is a prerequisite. That's why I moved this here at destination QRadar. So regardless you are doing interactive installation or silent installation, the destination should be there. And actually this destination can handle multiple sources, so you can get this command and push it on wide scale after you created the destination in QRadar. So you will give this to the Microsoft SIEM administrator with local destination, for example, after you created the local destination in the console. Okay, so make sure this is created before the guy take the command and the binary and start the deployment. Okay, and then remaining to put the XPath, so we can again borrow it from here. So it was this part till here, the XPath. Okay, so before the tuning profile. Okay, yeah, it is here, it should be here. So till this part, yeah, we put the end here. So I think we are ready. Let's make the order app check. So the command seems to be good so far. Let's double check if we have any extra spaces or anything unusual. Okay, even this one, remember it has space before, no, so it seems good. We can take this, I save the file, turn back to word wrap and go to the not this one, this one. Okay, and I need to first uninstall. I didn't uninstall the WinCollect agent yet. Okay, we need to uninstall it. We can uninstall from the command, from the control panel. Okay, so here I will uninstall it, and it's already stopped in the services. Okay, so it's uninstalled now, and if we check the services, it's no longer there. So now we can try to install again. So I'll open CMD as administrator and have to move to the folder. Okay, our folder is, I have to step back 2 times and go to server share and then WinCollect. Then I'll take the command from here. Okay, so let's paste it. So just double check our full console address. Okay, look, auto creation, and it is a variable for the name as computer name dash company, and the identifier is the same thing. Okay, so let's install it. And see this circle and this flashing things coming, and okay, so we can check here if WinCollect is installed. Yeah, it's installed and running. So let's go for the QRadar. Can see heartbeat messages. Okay, so let's wait for some time. See the managed log source. Okay, let's see if we actually have any agent here. Yes, we got the agent now here, and it's running. It's good. We have a deployment we need to do. So you see the name is different, -cm IP or company, and we need to deploy the changes. So I'll stop the video and come back. So the deployment is finished. Now we need to add the log sources. Actually, if we check now the WinCollect agent, we can see that only one log source, which is the local collection. We need to add two log sources. So we'll select log source, new log source, multiple log source. This for bulk addition. We'll select Windows as usual, and WinCollect for the protocol, and then this will be the template for the log source. So log source type, add source address. Okay, everything will be the same. The destination will select local destination, and then it will tell you what will be the domain or the username and password to connect to them. So we'll put the QRadar SA. So this service account should be there on both machines, and then the password, leave everything as default, select whatever you want, put the XPath. So we will put the XPath as usual here. Okay, so no spaces, and then the filtration NSA event filter, and finally you'll select the agent. Okay, so configure individual parameters. Here it will ask you to upload the file, a CSV file that containing the individual log source parameters. So simply it will be a file with the names. So we'll put the IP of our the 5.10, which is the visible one, 227, and the IP for my laptop, which is visible already from the 223. Okay, so back, I will upload this file. So I have the file here. I named it like bulk remote polling. Okay, it's a CSV file. Okay, so as soon as I upload the file, it tells you log sources are two, this one and this one. Okay, so you just confirm, finish, close, and check if you need to deploy changes. Yes, we have changes to be deployed for the two log sources. So deploy changes. Okay, we'll stop and come back. So the deployment has just finished. So now we can see logs are coming. So as usual, it will come first some unknowns, and then it will turn to the parsed ones. So let's check here the agent, WinCollect agent. It should now display like 3 log sources. Okay, 3. So 1 local and 2 sources we added as a bulk. So coming back here, so we have one error. The RPC server is unavailable. It's possible that the remote host may have a firewall rule active that is blocking. So this, I think, for maybe my laptop. It's talking about which one? Yeah, my laptop. So forget about my laptop. The RPC server is not enabled. So let's wait for logs from the other one, the 5.10. So there is another error, maybe the same or it's different. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so let's hope for the 5.10. We can access the 5.10 actually to like trigger some traffic or to expedite logs coming to the system. Okay, so the WinCollect error message is very useful, guys, and as you can see, we can quickly define the problem, like when we define that there is a connectivity issue with the QRadar, and we had to add the firewall rule, and here it's telling me that the agent is not able to access the RPC service on my laptop. Hopefully for John Smith, we already tried it before, so it doesn't have the problem. So okay, let's open something here. This is PowerShell We can open what else. We have here all apps. Can open Teams, PowerPoint. Here we can open calculator. So we can see here the logs are coming. You can see, guys. Okay, so this ends up our long lesson for the WinCollect 7, and only we remaining for this series of WinCollect is the next lesson, which will be a short lesson for WinCollect 10. As I mentioned before, it's just for standalone deployment mode. So let's go for this lesson, guys. Don't skip it and go for the next. I know the 2 lessons for the WinCollect 7 was a bit long, but it's very important. You will not find any environment without Windows there, so it was important to focus on them. And also watch the next lesson for the WinCollect 10. It's very it will be very useful inshallah. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next lesson.